Alright guys, I'm about to show you the God 808. It's called Halves, and honestly, it's carried every single one of my hardest mixes for the past 3 years now, and I use it so much that I actually want to dedicate an entire video on how to use this 808. I'm going to give you the 808, show you how to use it, all the different use cases, and even if you don't want to use this specific 808, the tips I'm going to be showing you in this video will help 808s hit regardless of how you're using it. And one little tip, I would suggest watching this video either in headphones or maybe in your studio speakers just so you can hear the full harmonic range of the 808. And let's go ahead and hear this 808 in a couple different songs so you can hear it in context. There's one. Here's a chill beat. Here's kind of like a more EDM-y song. Here's one more. Okay, so real quick, I'm gonna play this 808. That's the magic one right there, and a couple of reasons why I think it's so important, and I think this thing is so good. If you listen to it, you can hear there's a lot of different harmonic content here, because one of the things that makes 808s really sound big on laptop speakers and phone speakers, if you think about a phone doesn't have all this low end. Like if I click it again, this low end right here, just keep in mind, like that doesn't exist on a phone. It doesn't really exist on most laptop speakers. So the reality is that how does it add a lot to your mix when things like your phone, where most people are discovering music, you can't even hear it? And one characteristic about a great 808 that this 808 has is it has a lot of other harmonic information. If you hear it, there's a little bit of like a rattle to it that's actually coming from more of the high to the mid range, and you can hear that it's, you can hear the saturation and the distortion that's really driving its character. And then when you add saturation and distortion, it essentially adds a lot of frequencies that don't exist in the normal 808. And if you don't want to know about all that fancy jargon, all you need to know is that this 808 has a lot of stuff about the way it sounds that makes it sound good on a lot of different types of speakers. And if you're looking for an 808, sometimes having one that's super clean and doesn't have that distortion, doesn't have some of that tone built into it, struggles to sound good on other types of speakers. So the first thing I want to say is that there's this boost knob in FL, and you can just turn up the volume a little bit here too. It does something slightly different because when you use this boost knob, it'll clip it a little bit. I like to generally do that just to make it hit a little bit harder. And then the second thing I was going to do is when you draw in a note, if you actually turn up the note velocity inside of your piano roll when you use this thing, you'll also get more volume out of it. I actually was realizing I had a couple producers who had just had louder mixes than me, and I was like, what are you doing? We're using the same sample. And I realized they were just increasing the velocity, essentially getting more bang for your buck out of the sample. But yeah, let's just go ahead and listen to it. As you can see, it sounds pretty good. Getting that boost up and turning up the note velocity will help your 808s hit harder. But one thing that also I would say is very important, if you're using this on, let's say, a progression of some sort, I'm just going to grab a melody pack so we can add this to it. Okay, I have a basic melody here. Then I have the 808 to match the progression. And real quick, here is what the 808 sounds like. Sounds pretty good, right? Because it's hitting on D. And the first thing when it comes to using halves or any sort of go-to signature 808 that you have is figuring out where the sweet spot is. I know that this 808 is going to fucking smack on D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp. I know that if I go lower than D, if I get into something like a C minor scale or something like that, oftentimes certain notes won't sound as good. So when it comes to any 808, I would readjust the sample to get a really hard-hitting mix by moving the 808 first, then moving the melody to go with it, because the melody has a lot more room to wiggle in terms of up and down, because the higher end frequencies aren't as like picky about sounding good. They'll sound good kind of like in a lot of different areas, but the 808 is kind of has like sweet spots, and I think that's very important to know the sweet spot of your 808. And this one, I actually prefer if the main note hits kind of more like D sharp or even like E. E's a little high, maybe D sharp. There we go. because that'll change the tone a lot. And so when you're using this thing, I would highly recommend changing it. And because I went up one, I'm going to go up one on the main sample as well. So now we'll hear it together. And that second note was a little low, so I'm actually going to go up I'm going to try to go up 2 more, and I'm going to see how it sounds. And this is one of my things in my process I do to check the mixes. I test it out in different spots. Ooh. Huge difference, right? Huge difference. And then now all of a sudden, this 808 is kind of sitting in its pocket, and I think that's very important. So it's just an important thing to note when you're using 808s and stuff, that you learn, especially this Halves one, you want to learn its pocket, right? Okay, just to contextualize this, I'm going to get a basic like trap drum loop on it. That works. Okay, the next thing you need to know about this 808 is I would really learn how to mix it visually. So if I go to the mixer, you see where it's hitting up here? It's hitting right like almost like 80% of this bar. So anytime you can get a good visual indication on your mix, it'll actually help you out a lot. So the first thing I look at Halves is, I know that it needs to sit to really get a good mix. It needs to sit like right here. And already I would say it's a little high. And just kind of look at it in terms of like, how does it compare against the regular? Like even if I put the drums in, a lot of times I like look at them and seeing like who's taller. I actually mix visually quite a bit. So as you can see right there is one, think about the levels of really where this 808 needs to sit. I know for a fact this little mixing thing does not need to be taller than the melodies. It doesn't need to be taller than other things. So a lot of times I like to actually mix visually, and I think mixing visually can actually help you a lot. Something that's very simple. A lot of different DAWs have different indicators and stuff. Just look visually and start to understand where either this 808 you want to use or your favorite 808, where it needs to sit visually can really help your mix, especially when you don't have the best speakers. Just knowing your sound is really important. One other thing that you can say is that this sound, sometimes I even get a good mix. I do a lot of volume animation like this. Pumps the sound, and technically this sound is now like a little bit quieter, because if you really think about when I'm pumping, I'm turning down the volume back up, so I'm actually losing overall volume. Like my total volume is down lower. But you can keep a lot of energy like that. So honestly, sometimes I can even get this 808 to hit harder by sidechaining the other elements so they're not running into it as much. And essentially, because its total volume is smaller, now this big boy 808 has more room to smack. And the other thing I'll say is make sure, like on this sound, I'm also cutting a lot of the lows because I want to make sure essentially that the Halves 808 has as much room as possible to smack. Keep in mind, the way that this 808 and every 808 is going to sound absolute best is when you play it by itself. So every time you add more elements into the mix, you're essentially creating a harder and harder scenario to get a better mix. And that's why when you have a certain critical mass, you have too many, it's hard to get a good mix, too many sounds. And if you think about it, the way that an 808 sounds at absolute purest is when it's by itself. So sometimes trying to do a mix with less things or cutting volume or taking away frequencies can make your mix sound better, because you're getting more into that pure state where the 808 can hit as hard as it can by itself. Now we're pumping, opening up a little area for volume. It's super simple, but this is the same 808 I use on a lot of different tracks. And keep in mind, you can get a totally different mix if I went up like 3 more, let's say, and I have this 808 hitting way up here. Like that's pretty fire too. So I'm gonna raise up everything else. And as you can see, the key of the song also really dictates the quality of the mix. Yeah, and as you can see, that's like kind of really my basic tips for using this thing. I use it in a lot of different scenarios. And one thing that's important, earlier I mentioned it, but if I load up something like Diablo, I just want to show you real quick why it's important to have 808s and bass sounds that has a lot of other stuff like noise and saturation injected in. So real quick, this sizzle knob is essentially injecting noise into the sample. So I'm going to play it and then I'm going to turn up the sizzle knob so you can hear the noise, but the noise adds essentially like a very heaviness to it. Like when you have the noise in there, it'll make it sound a lot bigger. And you don't want to use too much. right? All of a sudden those high end frequencies, and if we look at it, you see all that static in here? You can hear it all right here. Sometimes you can even lower it a little bit, but that static, that rattle actually makes it sound a lot bigger. And the other thing I was gonna say is like having like different saturation on it. So as you can see, just by adding a little saturation, the Halves 808 starts to get even more character out of it. And that's really what you're looking for when it comes to a great 808. You really want to have something that has character and a strong low end, but honestly, really good low mids, and high range frequencies to really help fill out the harmonics and give the perceived loudness like a much bigger feel. And that's why I love this 808, but you don't have to just use this one. And I want to transition this video to also talking about your signature 808, because this is my signature 808. It's the one that I think sounds great. You can just steal it if you want, use it in all your songs. I'm telling you, it's going to sound good on a lot of different stuff. So let me give you a quick reason why I believe having your signature 808 is like the best thing you can do. The first thing is that I've used this 808 on 1,000 different song ideas, beats, lo-fi songs, EDM songs, hard-ass dubstep songs. I use the same 808 every single time. And it's kind of like, you're almost like somebody learning some martial arts. And let's say you had to pick up a weapon, like you had to learn nunchucks, right? But then you also had to learn how to use like a samurai sword, and then you also had to learn a staff. You're not really going to be a grandmaster at each one of those. But if you just got really good with the nunchucks, you'd probably be a dangerous weapon. And I kind of look at 808s like that. If you're using like a bunch of different 808s, you want to learn the flaws of this 808. Like I know where this 808 needs to sit visually. I know the different keys it sounds good. I know the different scenarios where I need to shape it a little bit and make it sound different. And you become really an expert with that 808. That's why when you have your own signature 808, you can really learn the different pros and cons and use cases to make it sound good. And that's one of the ways you get better mixes is by using the same sounds over and over and over again. Then when you use those same sounds, one of the cool parts is you become familiar with them. And when you become familiar with them, you know their weaknesses, you know when they'll ruin things in a mix. So you'll be like, oh, when I use this 808, it sounds too loud if it's like this. So then when you go to mix your next song with it, you'll already preemptively fix it and kind of know what to do with it. So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing, I think it makes it really important. It makes your mixes consistent. On the high end side, the leads, the melodies, the hi-hat, all those other sounds up in the higher end frequency range up here essentially can afford to like be different, right? So if I have, let's say this, okay, I can pitch that up a little bit. Let's say up 3. Sounds good. I can pitch it down 6. Sounds really good because a lot of the melodics can really afford that. But when it comes to the actual bass sound, if I were to pitch this thing down, let's say a bunch, like I just went way down here, it's going to be too muddy, right? It's too low. The bass has a specific sweet spot. So one of the other things I was going to say is when you have your signature 808s, you'll really learn the sweet spots with it. And I think that's like super critical when it comes to a good mix. So every 808 has a sweet spots. And then you're going to learn also when not to use it. Because I do have a few other bass sounds, including a respace and a few others that I'll pull out differently for different situations. But for the most part, having your own signature bass sound, and to be honest with you, your own signature sounds in general will help you become better at using them. And once you use them in hundreds of songs, you'll have songs that got mixed better than others, and you'll start to realize like, oh, how do I use this thing? And you'll become an expert at using the sound, which that sound is kind of like your tool. Okay, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on my favorite 808, Halves, the God 808 as I like to call it. And I hope you either use this to its fullest or use the stuff I talked about in this video to find your own signature 808. So today's exercise is going to be very easy. I've included the Halves 808 in this video, so all you have to do is go download it, and I want you to try out this 808 on one of your songs and one of your project files you have, or a few of your project files, and try to make your song sound even heavier with this 808. And a couple things to note is you might have to shift the key to your song to hit it in the sweet spot, but I want you to try to not only use this 808, but make sure you hit it into the right sweet spot where it sounds good. And rewatch this video if you want some tips on how to use it, because I did a few small things, like I used the boost knob, I boosted the volume on the MIDI files. Just make sure you don't forget those little details, because I think they're very important. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson on the God 808. Yeah guys, see you in the next lesson. Peace out.
If you guys liked this video, it is actually a module from my free course, The Art of Sampling, where I dive into everything you need to know on how to make really incredible music by using sampling. It's something I've been doing for 13 years, and I'm really excited. And by the way, there's exercises and download files, so if you don't want to miss out on really what this course has to offer, click the link below. It is all free. And if you like The Art of Sampling, it's actually a part of a bigger online music program called The Art of Music Production. So when you click the link below, you can check out not only The Art of Sampling for free and some of our free courses, but if you're interested, you can also check out The Art of Music Production. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and make sure you check out the full Art of Sampling.